Thank you for joining us. This Let's Talk Climate episode is one of 3 in a series Blessed Tomorrow is offering on environmental justice. Environmental justice is the fair treatment and meaningful involvement of all people, regardless of race, color, national origin, or income, with respect to the development, implementation, and enforcement of environmental laws, regulations, and policies. In this series, we are featuring different perspectives in the hopes that we will all have a deeper understanding that supports us in the work for justice for all people and all creation. All of these episodes will be available on ecoAmerica's YouTube channel for you to watch and share widely. Thank you. Welcome to Let's Talk Climate, a weekly webcast series from ecoAmerica featuring dynamic discussion with local and national leaders. We offer diverse perspectives and bring forth the latest thinking and best practices for building public support and political resolve for equitable climate solutions in the U.S. Please engage with us online using the hashtag Let's Talk Climate. I'm Reverend Carol Devine, an ordained minister with the Christian Church Disciples of Christ and the director of Blessed Tomorrow at ecoAmerica. I am joining you today from my home in Lexington, Kentucky, on the traditional lands of the Adena, Hopewell, Yuchi, Shawnee, and Cherokee people. I am so honored to be joined today by Huda Alkaff, founder and executive director of Wisconsin Green Muslims. Wisconsin Green Muslims were one of the national finalists of the 2022 American Climate Leadership Awards and received a $10,000 prize. Wisconsin Green Muslims is a grassroots environmental justice organization formed in 2005 to provide education on Islamic environmental justice teachings and to form coalitions with others working toward a just, healthy, peaceful, and sustainable future. To prepare us for this conversation that we're about to have, it's important to know or remember that in 1991, over 1,000 people gathered in Washington, D.C. from 50 states for the first National People of Color Environmental Leadership Summit. The summit, which was hosted by the United Church in Christ, resulted in the 17 principles of environmental justice and redefined the environmental movement. Huda, thank you so much for your leadership on climate and environmental justice, and congratulations to you and the Wisconsin Green Muslims for receiving this national award. I'm really excited to hear from you today. Wisconsin Green Muslims not only helps educate, but also helps people engage in climate solutions. You all have a fairly famous faith and solar program that is so successful. And right now in the summertime is prime time for your vegetable gardens program. And Wisconsin Green Muslims puts environmental justice at the center of all that you do. Huda, can you help us better understand environmental justice?
Thank you very much for hosting me today. I start with Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. In the name of God, the most merciful, most compassionate. I greet you with the Islamic greeting. Assalamu alaikum. Peace be with you. So I start with the land acknowledgement in Wisconsin. So in Wisconsin, I acknowledge that I'm on traditional Potawatomi, Ho-Chunk, and Menominee homeland along the southwest shores of Michigami, North America's largest system of freshwater lakes, where the Milwaukee, Menominee, and Kinnickinnic rivers meet, and where the people of Wisconsin, Stubborn, and Anishinaabe, Ho-Chunk, Menominee, Oneida, and Mohican nations remain present. acknowledge this because this is really central to environmental justice. This is really central to the work that we do and to our collaborations and coalitions that we are forming to really center marginalized communities' rights and really respect their traditional lands. So with that, yes, environmental justice is central to our work, and it's really, faith is definitely centered to this work. We work with over 19 different faith traditions and spiritualities and backgrounds in our Wisconsin Faith Communities for Equitable Solar initiative, where we advance just solar through building interfaith relationships. We connect with over 8,000 people, as I mentioned, from different backgrounds. And really, we celebrate sunlight as the commons and as the sacred gift and trust that bring us all together and connect us all together. And we should really appreciate it and bring it into our homes, welcome it in appreciation and gratitude into our homes, congregations, and lives, and not turn it and switch on fossil fuels from our communities. So with that, really, we work on educating the community on climate change, water, food issues, energy efficiency, solar energy, waste reduction, and transportation equity. So the basic principles of environmental justice that guide our work is to ensure public involvement of economically disadvantaged and minority groups in decision-making, prevent disproportionate high and adverse impacts of decisions and economically disadvantaged economically disadvantaged and minority groups, and to really assure that those communities are leading the work and they are listened to.
Yes.
So this really can bring all the components of a vibrant economy, of a healthy environment, and strong society together, because that's what we need in order to have clean air and clean water and have our rights respected collectively.
Nice. And I know that this work for you comes out of your faith. Can you tell us a little more about how your faith grounds you in this work?
Definitely, justice and the concept of balance is key in our faith in Islam, which we have our two primary sources for Wisconsin Green Muslims are the Quran, the holy book for Muslims, and the Hadith, reports of the sayings of Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. So in the Quran, God says in chapter 55, verses 7 to 10, and God has set up the balance of justice in order that you may not transgress due balance. So establish weight with justice and fall not short in the balance. It is God who has spread out the earth for all God's creatures. So the key concept here is balance. And it's definitely what resonated with me as an ecologist is the ecological balance. So it is faith and ecology like go together in the concept of balance and how it's critical to establishing justice for all, because if there is plenty for all to meet their needs and not their greed, but that's why concept of balance and justice is key. And then in the Quran, the chapter 3, verse 108, God says, these are the signs of God when he hears them to thee in truth, and God means no injustice to any of God's creatures. So here you see that it's totally for all creatures, the concept of justice needs to be centered and needs to be respected and needs to be grounded in our work.
Well, thank you so much. And I love that. I love that, that vision of image of balance. And it's so important. And it's and these ideals are common in all religions, of this idea that God has created everything and that God created everything for all to be loved and cared for, and that no injustice should be there. So thank you for sharing that. I know that you have done a lot of work since 2018, in particular on trying to get an office of environmental justice set up in Wisconsin. Will you tell us a little bit more about that process and the celebration this year that you were able to have?
Yeah, I wanted to share these photos. It's definitely a joy to share. So this took place in April 22nd, where the governor, Tony Evers of Wisconsin, signed the executive order to establish the first state office of environmental justice. This took place at the Indian Community School, which is an elementary school for Indigenous kids. And it was definitely a day of celebration and an honor, respect of Mother Earth, which we do celebrate every day and honor every day. So yeah, this journey really, as you mentioned, started early on, 2018, when we collectively thought of, yeah, how is Wisconsin in comparison with our neighbors? And so our neighboring states, they all have some kind of entity in regards to environmental justice, but the official entity I'm talking about, but Wisconsin does not. And so we said, we are lagging behind and we cannot tolerate that. That there was some at that time, after the elections in 2018, there was some change in politically. So we said, this is our opportunity to really bring in our concerns and see how they will be received. And so through collective work, through organizing, through meeting with officials, through just organizing, through bringing the issues up, and on and on and on through different ways. And there's a long history in this, like a maze that we went through and we learned along the way. But yeah, so we got so many obstacles, and that's why the only way that it could go through here in Wisconsin was through an executive order, through the governor signing. And of course, that would not take place without communities' pressure and demand and consistent ask in different ways. So yeah, so we did collectively reach that. And so this executive order consists now, the Office of Environmental Justice consists of two positions. One is the coordinator of environmental justice, and then the second position is for a resiliency officer. And that's really good because now it's like two positions supporting each other, not just one position alone handling everything. And it's also an interagency position. So it's the Office of Administration, but it's connected. And that's what we really asked for, is for it to be connected with other agencies, built in, so that it can have voice and force, respectful.
Permeate all the various offices, hopefully, would be the goal, right? Can you tell us a little more, if you were to give, I know that you learned a lot, that there was a lot of obstacles. This was a lot of hard work, and I'm assuming a lot of partnerships that you made along the way, formed along the way. What advice would you give anybody who's listening of how to either advocate for environmental justice or how to start even thinking about this process? What advice would you share with us?
So definitely study the landscape. And we did that. Like we are, as you mentioned, that's how Wisconsin Green Muslims exist, really, is through partnership, networks, coalitions, because we are a small group and I'm the only really part-time staff. So we really don't have much capacity, but we partner with others. We're part of many, many coalitions, networks. And so we are a member of the Milwaukee Environmental Justice Roundtable, a founding member. And then we are a member of the Midwest Environmental Justice Network. We're a member of the National Environmental Justice Leadership Forum. And through all these partnerships, we really with different ideas. Like nationally, we learned, okay, not just our neighbors in Wisconsin, the Midwest, but also nationally, what's happening in New York, New Jersey, North Carolina, other states that are California. And so we learned about those experiences, and they've also supported our thinking and our ideas and how we can center cumulative impacts in our demands. We also, in the Midwest, I coordinated a session in the Midwest where we shared together what's happening in different states in Minnesota, Illinois, Michigan, and Wisconsin, so that we can learn from each other. So that's through the Midwest Environmental Justice Network. And then the Milwaukee Environmental Justice Network, of course, that's key. That's the organizing part. That's the mobilizing in the community, information, education, and letters that we've written, testimonies that we've given, and so on and so forth. But it's work. It's very important. So yeah, that's the power of the people, that we need to come together, support each other, because it gets lonely if you're not really collaborating with others. So that on these different levels, we got this support, encouragement, and celebration. So people celebrated with us when we got this milestone done, and they said, yes, Wisconsin now had something, and definitely that will have a ripple effect, as the other before us have done this ripple effect that benefited us. So it's now our ripple effect will go further, and we need to really, build on that moving forward.
Well, I love what you're saying, and what I'm taking from it is that at Blessed Tomorrow and ecoAmerica, we are all about partnerships. We're all about connecting with others who are doing similar work or want to, in order to have collective action and amplify all of our work. So it sounds like first steps, if you were wanting to do environmental justice work, is to see what's already happening, either in your own community or state or around the nation, as examples, and then find partners to work with, see what's already happening or what's not happening, and join hands in order to do the work together. And I think that's a great example for all justice work, right? Is that we come together, different faiths, different organizations, that we can join hands and work together in order to accomplish the goals that we really need for climate solutions, for environmental justice, and for all justice issues. Well, Huda, I am so honored and blessed to be with you today. I'm so honored to get to know you. Your small organization of Wisconsin Green Muslims has done mighty things. And so I congratulate you for all that you have accomplished and continue to accomplish, and just ask for blessings to be upon you and the Wisconsin Green Muslims. So thank you for being with us today. It has been a blessing to be with you, and I look forward to working with you again in the future.
Thank you.
Please check out, listeners, the description below and tell us what you think. Engage with us online, again, using the hashtag Let's Talk Climate. And be sure to subscribe and follow Blessed Tomorrow for the latest thoughtful leadership, resources, and episodes on climate action and advocacy. From all of us at ecoAmerica and Blessed Tomorrow, thank you for being with us. People of faith really are the perfect leaders for climate solutions and environmental justice. We all stand on God's holy ground together. We need everyone, every day. Thank you.